Joining us this morning, Crawford County Commissioner Mr. Francis Weiderspahn Jr. Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
How have you been?
I've been doing very well. Enjoying the sunshine on the way over today. A little cool, but it is February now.
Yeah, that's right.
It stuck right up on me.
Well, it's probably strange to kind of think already, 1 month into the new year. Kind of give us maybe a wrap up of how February went, or not February, January. What sort of things came up, and then we'll get into this month and the rest of the year.
Well, one of the big things I was involved with, of course, I'm heavily involved with the Crawford County Fair. I think it was the 18th of January. My wife and I and several of the fair board members went down to the State Fair Convention down in Hershey and getting ideas for various acts and working with the ride company and that for preparing for the 2023 fair. And they always have good seminars down there for ideas to improve your fair, and you network with other fairs and see what works for them, all sizes of fairs. So that's always a highlight. We've been fortunate to go down there 4 or 5 times, and of course the Crawford County Fair Queen pageant and supporting Sarah Lasco down there, and she made us proud. Unfortunately, she wasn't the winner, but when you have 59 girls and they're all do a great job of what they're there for, she did very well.
That's great. That's great. Now, you get ideas when you go down there, but do you have people come up to you and say, well, you guys have a pretty good fair yourselves, so how do you do this? Or do they ask you your thoughts on things?
Yeah, especially in these seminars, since they Crawford County. It's known as one of the largest fairs in the state. So I feel, and we taunted is, and I believe it is, the largest county agricultural fair in the state, and even eastern Mississippi. And so, people know it. Even when you're talking to, especially entertainment venues to maybe come to the fair, we'd love to be at the Crawford County Fair. So we have a great reputation. And
that's great.
As well as food vendors and, strolling acts or whatever. They know where Crawford County, or at least know about the fair. Maybe not exactly where we're at, but
they know the fair.
They know the fair.
So, kind of lay out. We're into February. Do you pretty much know food vendors? Are you working on the entertainment? At what stage of the year do those announcements start coming out on who's going to be performing? And if you're somebody interested in having a booth at the fair, when does that process begin?
All the vendors have been there before. That's actually started. That they have the first option to come back as far as the food vendors and those kind of things. But if anybody's interested, you want to contact the fair and put your word in, and if they have space, at least you can be on the list to be considered. And the easiest way to do that is go to their website and reach out to them that way, either a call or on their email or something like that to get a hold of them. And most of those things are done. There is a couple acts what normally the free acts like the circus and the racing pigs have been like the last several years. Neither one of those are able to come this year, so looking at maybe another circus or and maybe another act, so that there's something for people to do that doesn't cost them much if they're not interested in the truck and tractor pulls, which we'll have two nights of that this year, and demolition derby and those kind of things in the grandstand. There's other things for them to do, of course, as well as all the exhibits.
It's a conversation that never really goes away, does it? It's
No.
always, even like right after the fair, it's okay, what went well, what things do we want to tweak, and you're right on to planning the next year's.
Yeah, exactly. Like tonight, there's a committee meeting. The fair board now for the last year and a half or so, they have a committee meeting to discuss ideas and stuff and things that are possibly or will be on the agenda for next week's official fair board meeting, and that way they can do a lot of the work, or if they need more information or anything, they have a whole week to do it. And public's welcome to that. It's at 6 o'clock at the extension office, and that's the same place. Next week on Thursday at 6 o'clock will be the regular fair board meeting that, again, is open to the public. So,
of course, everybody is thinking, oh, that's August, so but that seems like a long ways away. For everybody involved, though, it's like, oh my gosh, it's already February. Do we have this in place? Do we have this in place? When can we start doing this?
Yeah, I mean, deadline's in for all the departments to, it's coming up pretty quick here to get the information to go in the fair book for, so.
Wow.
Because before you know it, it'll be May and June, and you start entering your exhibits in various departments, and all that's got to be figured out ahead of time, contacting judges and talking about, whatever improvements structurally or whatever at the fair that needs to be done. So
That's incredible.
it's ongoing, all 12 months.
So, in terms of improvements at the fairgrounds, you have a list of things that you want to, or the board wants to tackle this year, and is it now just a case of either waiting for those things to get approved or the weather to break, or how, what's that process?
There's several roofs we'd like to work on. The poultry barn roof needs some work done to that. And we know it's needed, and maintenance has been real good. That they'll do some repairs, so it'll get through the week of the fair with no leaks. But by next year's fair, there's either those same leaks again or something else. So we want to look at replacing that roof.
You got to protect those eggs; they're valuable now.
Oh my, yes they are. Yep.
You can pay for those roofs.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's changed, not just eggs, but everything. Every time you go to the grocery store, oh my.
So, when it comes to those improvements, I think the other thing that I think we try to help stress, though, the fairgrounds are used year round. I mean, it's not just that 1 week. You go up there, spring and summer, and there's something going on almost every weekend.
Yep, pretty much. Memorial weekend, there generally isn't something, although there's talk about maybe a truck and tractor pull Memorial weekend. But, yeah, it starts actually starts in April with some shows and tree sales and some things. And then, but early May, right on through the into October, there's very few weekends there isn't at least one event, let alone maybe something down where the animals are and something maybe down at the home show area or going on. That there's even 2 events going on. And a lot of those events start on Thursday or Friday and run clear through Sunday.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great to have it used, and it helps the local economy and brings people into the area, and it's a real boost to the area economy and businesses.
Well, speaking of business, this is a nice transition. Speaking of businesses,
Okay.
Discussed a loan program, right? $1 million start.
Yeah, the Economic Progress Alliance has got a loan program for small businesses, and it's a revolving loan. We committed $1 million from the ARPA funds, and we've given them already $500,000 to get started, and they've got, I think it's 3 or maybe it's even 5, Christopher is telling me, already applications, and I think maybe they've even approved a couple of those, so the money's going to start going out, and when they get close to using that first $500,000, we'll give them the rest. And I don't think there'll be any problem that, before we know it, they'll be all out there and out in the community and developing businesses, creating jobs in some cases. And the nice thing is, it's a loan that comes back in, and then when that money comes back in, it can go back out the door and another loan to somebody else.
And
it's not a grant, but it is a low-interest loan.
And that's staying right here in the county,
It's staying right in the county.
That's great.
We've had some inquiries about outside the county, but no, this one's in the county only.
So, again, that's something where you're helping businesses, and in turn, as they pay that back, that's going to help other businesses. So,
yeah, and people have, in the 3 times I've run for office, and you hear it all the time, well, what's the commissioners doing to create jobs? We don't create jobs, but that's the kind of things we can do to help the local economy and help those businesses create the jobs or help new businesses come in. That's where our job is.
Well, you can create the environment for folks to do.
That's a great way of putting it, Luke.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah, but that always drove me nuts when somebody would say, what are you doing to create? It's not government's job to create jobs. It's their job to create the environment for folks to create jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a couple other quick headlines. There was, I guess, a refund, right? Property taxes that also came up?
That happens at times. That unfortunately, 3 of them are catastrophic, where somebody's structure, whether it's a house or some other structure in their building, that may be destroyed by fire. So the portion of the year that they don't have that, they get those taxes back. And occasionally there's an error, and when that's found, they get that money back if they've overpaid the taxes. And there was a couple instances of that, so that happens every year to get things.
Yeah, not a big deal.
No.
The other, I think, big conversation in January, the new 3-year contract
For the unions?
for the unions. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we have 8 unions. We have the care center. That one was presented at the meeting yesterday and will be voted on next week. That's been accepted by the union, and I believe there's 2 other of them that are maybe have a tentative agreement, and there's a couple other them that are getting close. So we're getting through there. We got close to half of them that we feel it's both sides have come to close to an agreement that we can maybe the next time they meet can get that worked out. And but it's definitely a process. It started pretty much just about a year ago.
Wow.
With those meetings, because all the contracts ended December of 2022. The hope is, of course, always to have it settled before that, but
Here
didn't
we
work
are.
that way.
Yeah.
And it's not that both sides weren't trying.
Yeah. And just keep going, right?
That's right.
You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Crawford County Commissioner, Mr. Francis Weiderspahn Jr., joining us here this morning. So from those types of things, I know people have asked, I can't make it to a meeting, but how can I view a meeting? Obviously, Armstrong on the neighborhood channel runs the meetings, but can they go online to watch meetings as well?
Yeah, all our voting meetings, or you can go to the website and watch those. Those are we have our own camera that, or we sometimes use the clip from Armstrong and put on there, and then there's always the transcript of the meetings, the agenda and so forth for the work sessions. Those are the first and third Wednesdays of the month, and then the second and fourth is the voting meetings. But the voting meetings, unless Armstrong has a conflict, they're always there. They might miss one a year or something like that. And, of course, we have our own film that's on the website if it's available, so you can watch the meetings.
Yeah, and folks can utilize the website and all the information available on there. So there's ways of getting that information, and if you want to take an interest, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, the agenda is always posted the Tuesday morning before the meetings. That's a requirement, and we make sure that's there, if not on Monday evening, so you have a chance to see what's going to be on the agenda. In case you have some concerns, you can come to the meeting, you can call the commissioner's office, and if you can't be there in person, and let us know if you have a concern about something. They're either supportive or you don't like the idea, which is okay.
It's been kind of quiet, though, lately.
It has been pretty good.
All right.
The real excitement will be starting here in a couple of weeks with the petition signing, and of course, this is a municipal, so there's going to be lots of names on the ballot. And
Let's hope.
well, yes, that's true. There's always especially in the townships or whatever.
was
No
gonna say-
fault of theirs, but sometimes they don't have people to step up and fill all those positions.
And you hear the folks that say, "Yeah, I would do it, but I don't want people, ripping on me online, or all these people that come out with all these ideas, but they don't want to run themselves. They'd rather sit behind their keyboards and complain about things." It's challenging. So for those who are doing, even if you disagree with them on something, good for them to step up and do that. And you look at you go in to vote, and you've got township supervisor. There's no names listed. Step up, do something.
Yeah, it's sad that when there's not a full list of those offices, at least one to vote for, if not especially in the primary, a couple, 3 to choose from. So.
And we talked about the fair kind of being a year-long conversation, but even just voting here in Crawford County is something that is probably discussed year-round as well. I mean, you've got primary and general, but there's a lot that goes into making sure everything goes right those nights.
Oh, absolutely. There's maybe a month in between each one, so 2 months out of the year that aren't super busy, but there's still plenty to do, but we're gearing up now for, of course, getting ready for petitions. People are coming into the office and asking questions and seeking information, and the petitions, I believe. Well, I know you can start circulating on the 14th, Valentine's Day, and then they have to be back in by
How romantic.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have to be back by the 7th of March, but you can pick them up a little bit ahead. And like I said, it's a municipal election, so there's most of the county offices, all but 2, and you've got supervisors and school boards and you name it.
There's one name that I don't see that's going to be appearing above one of those petitions. Is that your name that isn't going to be on there?
That would be one of them.
Yeah. This is the first time since when?
2011 was the first time I ran. So
wow.
I'm at 11 years and 1 month in, with 11 months to go, and I've enjoyed it. I'm glad I've done it. But after 12 years, I think it's time to give somebody else the opportunity to come in with maybe some other ideas and do what they see best, and can move the county forward from there. I feel fortunate that I came in when I did. I have the background, of course, from agriculture as well as construction. I was in the construction field for a number of years before we started farming full-time again, and with the projects we've had at the courthouse and the new judicial center, I think that was certainly a plus to have that there. But knock on wood, unless something happens, I don't see any major construction projects coming up. And not that that's the reason I'm not running again, but there's probably some other skills that would be better to have in one of the commissioners sitting there. And I'm getting the age, I'd like to have a little time to spend some time with grandkids and my wife and do some traveling. Not a lot, but a little bit, and still play around.
Travel or spend time with your wife?
Well, spend a lot of time with my wife and a little bit of travel.
Okay.
Thanks for helping me clarify that.
Lots of traveling, little time. We just wanted to clarify, so that's good.
Yes.
So I'll ask you now, and we'll visit again throughout the year, but kind of knowing that this is it, do you look at the year and say, boy, these are the things I'd like to kind of finish up, or do you really not have that mindset because things change so much and, projects can get extended or shortened or whatever? Yeah,
there's definitely some things I want to see done. Ever since I've been there, and I don't doubt that maybe the previous boards of commissioners have talked about, here in the city of Titusville, there's 7 voting precincts, and a couple of them are very small. Other than presidential years, which that's countywide, that's not just in Titusville, that's nationwide.
Yeah.
That's the only 4 years, a lot of people, that's the only time they vote, but there's sometimes, it's a very long day for some of those workers in those precincts, and not just in Titusville, but it's I feel an easy place that we can combine some precincts. So we actually have petitioned the court. I can't tell you the exact day in March, but we have to, and we will put out notices, so anybody in Titusville wants to go to that hearing and present reasons why they think that's a good idea or not a good idea. But we're going to drop it down to 3 precincts. Probably still looking at keeping it 1 voting location, but instead of having 7 precincts in 1 location, it'll be 3. And it may be continue to be at the Y, or we've also been talking to Pitt Titusville, and it might be that there's 3 are there, but maybe not all right in the same exact location. They may be in Henny like it has been in the past, and maybe over, across the parking lot and where the gymnasium, there's room there. You could put a couple, and they're certainly willing to talk to us about that. But
and you guys, did you do that in Meadville too? Combine a couple?
Yes, we did. We combined two precincts, went together at 2 different locations. So we're looking at reducing that number by a couple precincts, and for the exact same reasons, and it just makes it more efficient. And all over the county, we have trouble getting enough poll workers, so this will help that a little bit. And we hear it all the time, and have heard it for years, that poll workers are getting the age that some of them are done it so long, and they're ready to let somebody else have a turn at it.
Is there a minimum age to be able to work at the polls?
I believe it's 17.
17.
Because we have high school students, including ones from Ticeville and the other school districts. A lot of them participate.
Is that them reaching out to you, or do you guys talk to the
Initially,
school
we reached out
districts?
to them, and
Okay.
we still contact them every year. But we've had very good reception from the school districts and offering students to help, and they certainly seem to enjoy the day. And I know the poll workers just love them.
Yeah.
They all love their student poll workers, and if they're available the next election, if they're not graduating or whatever, they want them back. And if not them, then somebody else.
Well, that's great for those students, and that's real life experience they're getting there. So and they get to meet so many people too.
Yeah, right. And then that's maybe that'll give them the flavor when they start their careers and maybe have some free time, whether it's when they're 30s or older, that maybe they think, I'd like to do that again.
Yeah. Well, Crawford County Commissioner Francis Weiderspahn Jr. joining us. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Good to be seen.
All the best. Tell everybody we said hi.
I will do that. Thank you much.
Thank you.